Ryan can have a better day. The Florida real estate market crashing, stupidity, the dumbing continues. I have gone through many, many times and said, don't recommend this channel, uh, Reventure Consulting or something. Nick, I don't know his last name, is a crash pro. And he makes video after video after video talking about here's the brand new reason today, new compared to 2 weeks ago, why real estate's going to crash. All the prices are going to come down. He's been on news outlets. And I remember watching, this is about the time I decided, okay, I have to just block the stupid. Uh, he said, no, I'm not saying he's stupid. Okay, not in any way. I'm saying the content is stupid. The video is stupid. The short that I'm going to play here in a minute is stupid. Kind of like when your kid does something dumb, you don't call your kid dumb. You say, that was a dumb thing. And you're not dumb. Don't do that. He's not dumb. He's making a lot of money by selling FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And fear sells. So on the news outlet where I saw the clip of him talking about the new crash, the anchor, the interviewer, if that's what they're still called in the outdated media, said, hey, Nick, you've called for a crash consistently for 2 years. What's different this time? And then he went through a spiel on what a year ago, when I saw that, was the current reason for the crash that was going to happen a year ago that didn't happen. And the anchor didn't tear into it at all. He just said, oh, okay, cool. You got a reason. It's another reason. Every 2 weeks or 2 days, you got a new video coming out. So I have a few people who sent me this video. Scott has sent me a couple of videos that I want to react to. And Matt, the lumberjack landlord, was nice enough to send me this short and just say, here's some entertainment for you. So that's how this ends up in my feed. So I'm going to play the short. I want to give him credit. This is his content. He gets a lot more views than I do. So fear sells more than how to make work optional, how to have a life that most people can only dream of. And I'll be the first to say, I don't own any stocks. So if I talk about stock investing, I'll recommend Joe Kuhn, Kuhn, here on YouTube. I don't invest out of state. If somebody wants to own some rentals or real estate out of state, I'll say, here, you should check out Millennial Mike. I don't do burrs and rehabs and massive updates to try to get max rents. That's not my strategy. But if you wanted to have the best upgrades for the best rent and the biggest portfolio that you could self-manage and do all it yourself, I'll recommend the Lumberjack Landlord, or all the millionaires that go on the one rental at a time community and share their stories. Everybody's got a different track. My way is to buy residential real estate, 4 units or less, right? I don't buy single family houses. I buy small multifamily. So I generally talk real estate and rentals when it comes to reaching financial freedom. I don't say create a YouTube channel and talk about the real estate crash that's going to happen over and over, or the stock market crash that's going to happen over and over, or the crypto crash that's going to happen over and over, because people watch the fear videos because it gives them an excuse not to do anything. So this is live. I don't edit. I'm just going to show you not only the stupid of this video, and I don't want to say, I can't say he's lying because he's just making stuff up. That sounds realistic. That sounds, oh, I could totally see that. So let me share my screen. I need a 10-year-old around here to help me with the tech. I'm not sure the volume level, so give me just a second. But this is the video. And the first word is Florida. Matt sent this to me for entertainment's sake.
Florida is absolutely destroying real estate investors right now. The investor on this house behind me bought it at the peak in 2022 for 280 grand, and they've
the peak. Like we haven't had massive real estate appreciation in the last 2 years.
Since had to cut the rent by 23%.
Had to cut the rent by 23%. Cutting the rent means you had it rented at an amount and you have signed a lease at a new lower amount. which I have never seen anyone do in my entire life. So there is no cutting of rent going on. You can actually Google rent history from 1940 when we started tracking the data. Rents have never once gone down. The closest we've had is 2 times. In 2009 and 10, luxury, class A, super high end, because of the economic problems, people moved to B minus, class C, not really to D, the war zones, but they moved to lower end rentals to save money, which increased the demand on rentals in class C and B properties. I don't recommend owning class A because that's luxury and it goes away when things get bad. The other time that rents look like they're softening is currently in 2024, 2023, 2024. Remote work is happening more than at any point in our history. So people don't have to live in cities where the work is. So the larger apartment complexes in cities can see less demand. But the building he's talking about is a house, not inside a large city. Rental demand for this will be increased, but let's give him a chance. 23% reduction.
From their pro forma.
And if you watch my content, what does pro forma mean? See if somebody types it in the comments before I could say made up bull dookie. Pro forma actually has a caveat in the listing that says this is made up and you have to verify it yourself.
$23.95 down to $18.50 a month, and this house is still.
So the pro forma was 23. I missed it. And I don't know how to back up on the book of faces because I'm not a tech guy.
Sitting vacant even at $18.50 a month.
Sitting at
now, in the same span, property taxes and insurance have absolutely exploded.
Factual. I don't know about the insurance, the taxes part. Taxes on my properties, on 2 of them went down, some of them went up. Insurance has gone up significantly. So he's got a point on that. Costs do go up over time.
Meaning that this investor is very likely losing money after they pay their mortgage interest to their bank. And this is a cautionary tale.
Okay, cautionary tale. In my state, I have never seen a single family house that would cash flow as a rental purchased currently to be as a rental. So I go with small multifamily. So this is a house. In the I need to get his face off of everybody's screen to make the all-nighter hider happier. So you heard the data there. Bless you. Bought for $280,000 and has it rented it listed at $18.50 and it's sitting on the market. To prove a real estate crash, we're taking one specific instance. Now, what I want to do is show you, as an investor, a couple of things that we would do to think, would this make sense as a rental at $280,000? I personally wouldn't buy a single family house at $280,000 and rent it out. Not for the rents that you can get in my area. I would buy a duplex because you have the same amount of rent coming in twice. Not much different cost between a duplex and a single family. In my area, single family houses go for $500,000 to $600,000 and a duplex goes for $550,000 to $700,000, but you get almost twice the rent. That's why they make more sense. So I want to share my screen and show you as an investor, not edited. This is not pre-scripted. This is just, I'm going to look at this property. Now I took down from the screen that he showed. It's in St. Petersburg, Florida. So the first thing I want to do is look up fair market rents. What will the government pay for rents in this area for a 3-bedroom, 1-bath apartment or house or duplex? They pay the same. There might be some concessions in if it's a mobile home or some other things. They don't give more if you've got a swimming pool. They don't give more if you've got a hot tub or a garage. They only go by bedroom count. So this is 2025. And Florida starts with an F because that's how words work. And I have no idea what county. Pinellas County? I've never heard of it. Pinellas? It's not, I don't know if it's a Spanish name. I doubt that it's Pinellas. Okay. Then it had a zip code. Probably should just look that up. 33709. 33709. So this is studio or by the room. This is single bedroom. This is 2 bedroom. So section 8 will pay 2340. So if this person has a house for rent sitting for 1850 on the MLS, someone should reach out to them and say, hey, you're an idiot. The government will pay, and now including utilities, 2340. So figure the rent would be 2200. And if there's a shortage of units in that area, the housing authority has the authority to go 10% above this fair market rents for 2025. Was okay. So that's the first thing. Second thing I want to do is I want to look at rentometer, and I'm going to put in Petersburg, Florida, 3 beds, any bath, check rent. So on the low end, they say 2,000. This could be mobile homes. This could be low income housing. Average is 2658 for a 3 bedroom. Medium's 2400. So 2400 is probably a little more accurate, less impacted by the outliers. So rentometer, it's the housing authority, are above 2200. The pro forma was 2300. I want to see several rentals, dozens, sitting on the market, not renting for what Section 8 will pay for the rental, to say, now here's the problem with the Crash Bros. Pull up a listing, point out some numbers, no idea if those numbers are actually related to that property. I think at some point he's going to talk to the owner of the property. One of us should do that. And look at the listing. I've not gone into detail enough to find the actual listing. I could go to, see if I'm sharing my screen still. Sharing my screen here. I will change to Zillow. I will look up for rent. And I will put in so there's a 2000 here. There's a 1900 here. I don't have bedroom count, right? So 3 bedroom, use exact match, apply. So there's a 2600 here. Good water view. So that would obviously go for more. I don't see very many sitting on here at 1850, expanding out pretty far from that zip code. So, Nick, I call BS. Absolute, flat out BS, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You trying to make people think that rents are crashing when not one person that I have never heard of has re-signed a lease with an existing tenant this year at a lower amount. Now, some landlord might go, they had a death in the family. They had a birth in the family. They had a divorce in the family. I really liked them. They've been there for years, so I lowered their rent. I have a brother that is that stupid to do stuff like that. Yes, that's a familial term of love in my family. Um, so everyone here seeing the rentals on Zillow in the area, 3 bedrooms. I didn't even put in anything special to narrow down and try to get rid of low income or anything. But anything on this market at 1850 wouldn't sit very long unless maybe there's a problem with the property. So at some point I might find that property, I might look up the listing, and I might go through, from what I've learned in the Lumberjack Landlord's course, of how to make a listing attractive to the tenants. Tell me, am I wrong here? When have any of my tenants re-signed this year without an increase? No, beginning of 2024, I binder strategied the entire portfolio and had because the state I live in threatened rent control. And I'm making this year, just this year, $3,300 more a month because of the threat of rent control in my area. So 14 minutes, that's all I could handle talking about him. Normally the intro to these is 20 minutes or so, and then I answer questions for the rest of the video. Thanks, Matt, for sending that to me and giving me the frustration to know that there are people who will lose hundreds of thousands of dollars because of guys like Nick. I made a video a couple of weeks ago about the Crash Bros costing my friend $100,000, and I spelled out exactly how, the dates it happened, the property it happened on. I purchased one. He could have bought one across the street. It's doubled the amount I've invested in it. It cash flows over $2,000 a month, and it's given me over $100,000 in appreciation since 2021, which Nick almost calls the peak of the last years of appreciation over and over and over. Thank you for the super chat, Matt. And the chat thinks you are wrong. He's a real estate agent that helps investors. Nice. Let me look through that first. Now, so Daniel, I don't know if you're here often or whatever, but hang on, let me go to where you're at here. As long as you're not attacking anyone else in the chat, you can attack me all you want. This is free open chat. Feel free to say whatever you want. Now let's look through and see if I can find Daniel. Now, I'm wrong. I showed you what housing authority will pay off the fair market rents. I have Section 8 tenants. I have negotiated with Section 8 to above their fair market rents because of the shortage with the 10%. I use Zillow to set my rents. I go below area average. The ones I saw there were all above the 2,200 that you can get for this place. But I want to see if I can find Daniel here, proving me wrong. Oh, and also, no one should take investing advice from a real estate agent unless they're also an investor. Now, if it's an agent that says, I help investors, that's even worse. Take Beth Traverso for an example. Portfolio bigger than mine. I listen to her all day. I take notes when she talks. Listening for about 15 minutes, I don't believe you understand what's going on in Florida at all. Yeah, insurance sucks. That's hitting everywhere. Insurance isn't going up in Florida because of Florida. Insurance is going up everywhere because of Florida and Tennessee. And it's not like there's an insurance company that says, we only insure in Florida. Yeah. Florida, I spent 2 months, Daniel, in Cape Coral, studying the market, watching the 50% increase to population build happening north of Fort Myers, and helped my friends buy several duplexes. So yeah, I'm not a master of Florida. I live in Washington State. There's no R. And I only spent 2 months studying it. My friends invested there for a while. Their real estate is local, but I guarantee, Daniel, you can't take one rental listing and say, this is causing a crash. That 2,800 is 500 more than area average rent. Yep, that's why so many people in some areas go with Section 8. I've got one county, I go with Section 8. I got one county I invest in. I don't touch Section 8 there at all. I'm gonna give Daniel this week. So I had an investor buy a duplex doing this stupid you're doing, and his 2 doors are sitting on the market for over 6 months. Well, then if he's listening to your advice, that's probably the problem. You have it listed poorly, or you had him buy one that doesn't cash flow, because about 85% of deals would lose money. Most do. You have to look for the ones that would make money if you do the thing to create the wealth with the asset. No, but I know I'm looking for your, give me some proof, sure, buddy. No one is paying over 2,000 for a 3-2 in Village. Uh-huh. Yeah. I'll call BS on that too. So here's what you do, Daniel. You make a YouTube channel, you find the proof, and you put it out there and put the information out there for people. Okay. Well, if he didn't buy it from you, then hopefully you're there to help him to figure out how to get his rents higher. And if nobody is paying higher, what is Section 8 paying in that area? Look up fair market rents for the county you're talking about and that whatever you're looking at, and tell me that Section 8 is not paying more than 2,000, because there are areas where Section 8 pays less, right? It's based on the last 7 years of data. They don't count the most recent 2, but the 5 years before that, they take an average to come up with their fair market rents. So I love a good argument. And I figure if I put Nick's face on there, I'm going to get some tards that don't know anything about real estate, especially the ones that are agents, that are going to have their own opinion. while I sit here and never have to work again in my life and have interacted with people who are buying rentals who are cash flowing. So cheers, Daniel. Merry Christmas for everybody and happy Festivus for the rest of us. This is the rest of this video. Thanks for that, Matt, for getting me around the frustration of having a crash bro in my head, because they live there rent free if you watch their content, and you will pass on deals that could have been good. Adam, howdy. Good to hear from you. How is it going? Merry Christmas. All my deal from August is almost done. I talked with you, Matt, and Zuber about it on school. I will update on school soon. Thanks for all the work you Avengers are doing for us, noobs. Congratulations. Awesome. We should do a video and go over the details, and try not to reference Daniel in that video over and over and over and over. We talk about you can still find cash flowing deals today. It's not easier. Two things shifted, and I've talked about it 100 times on my channel, so I'm not going to go over it tonight unless people ask about it. But two things shifted from the way we were buying, where I was buying rentals for the last decade. Because not only is real estate local, but it's four dimensional, right? It changes. There's seasonality, there's the shift in interest rates, there's stupid things like rent control that come up. So, howdy everybody. Frank, Gene, Bill, Dividend Dave, good to see you here. All Nighter Hider asking to start it to get that picture off the screen. As soon as I saw that, I did. I went live a minute early. Freedom Works, good to see you, Jason. Merry Christmas Eve. It's actually a word for Christmas Eve that I was going to use yesterday. Give him the credit. I do give him the credit, Matt, for costing people a lot of money. Now, if he's saying don't buy single family houses because they don't cash flow, and I haven't ran it, but $280,000, somebody can run the math on this. $280,000 purchase price, 25% down, investment property, not a house hack. Insurance is the killer. That's the thing in Florida, right? If you can have flood insurance based on elevation of the property or the foundation, that can fluctuate from like $1,000 to $8,000, right? So it's not like in other states where you don't have that to consider, but you can do the research to figure out what your quote is. And I don't say don't buy single family houses. I say I don't buy them because in Washington, I haven't seen any that make sense. I have friends who invest in Ohio, and Millennial Mike invests in Gary, Indiana, and they've got single family houses that perform really well. Motivating than fear. That would be the hope. Fear sells. I guarantee that short and videos on Nick's channel get hundreds of thousands of views compared to my few thousand. But I would rather have a few hundred taking action and acquiring rentals or assets, or getting involved in financial freedom and figuring out stocks, crypto, or running a business is your way. I don't say my way is right? There's no one right way to do this, but there is a one right way for you. And because of the Crash Bro channels, a lot of people are opting to just not invest at all. So Daniel, if Florida's imploding, maybe that's the person who's like the person who lives in San Diego that says, I'll invest in Gary, Indiana, like All Nighter Hider does. Or Millennial Mike up here in Seattle area. He doesn't live in Seattle because he's not stupid, but he's close enough to Seattle to know the numbers don't work for him very well in Washington. So he invests out of state. So if you're in Florida and nobody knows what's going on, invest at a distance. Nick is just saying this one rental is sitting $500 less than Section 8 will pay. And so nobody should own rentals. Millennial Mike, jumping into the chat. Surprised you should be almost getting ready for work, right? Zuber and the Lumberjack 2v1 you in that debate. Next time, tap me WWE style and let's make it a fair fight. We are doing more debate videos like that. It didn't get as many views as the Crash video where we talked about what we see going on in commercial, not residential. But it did get a lot of comments, and I appreciate every single comment. Here's the funny thing with my content. Let's say you watch this live, it's Christmas Eve, you go hang out with your family, and then later tonight you want to watch a video just before you crash, and you see one of my videos from like 2 years ago. Leave a comment. I still answer those. I answer every question, every comment. Doesn't matter how old the video is, when it came out. Look forward to each one of those. Lumberjack Landlord. 2130 is the low, 3050 is the high, and Osceola 3-bed. There you go. So, but everybody has it sitting under 2,000. Nobody's paying over 2,000. Daniel, I don't mean to personally attack you. It's just more entertaining if I say snippy things. I just think that Daniel being a real estate agent and there being a crash, an actual real estate crash in transactions, Daniel's not making enough money to rent a place for more than $2,000. So that would be from his perspective. It's a joke, Daniel. I don't know anything about you. Other than I want to see how creative you are. Come at me in the comments because that could be fun. If there's anybody new to the channel, it's not usually like this. Normally I do an intro, 10, 20 minutes on a topic to help you learn about real estate or investing. And then the rest of this is answering questions. But the Crash Bros make me drink the water that makes my eyes water. I get it. Real estate doesn't always go up. You shouldn't take big risks. You can mitigate risks, and you have to educate yourself before you do any investing. That's all true. REI, Jared, when you work for yourself, you work when there is work to be had. Oh, that's brilliant. I love it. I actually want to take a screenshot of that. Very, very true. Lumberjack landlord. And when you say entertainment, you mean for us to laugh at his inability to understand simple real estate concepts. So true. Jack, howdy. Should start a pumpkin farm. I'd love to see what he does to the buy cost. Nice. Admitting pro forma is fake. It actually says in there you can't hold us accountable if this doesn't end up being true because it's not. I've actually seen some listings in some of the members only live streams in the last couple of months where the pro forma seemed accurate. I was like, wow. Jack, you had me scared, Lumberjack. I thought you were saying pumpkins are fake. You believe in pumpkins? Uh, appreciation exploded too. Yeah. Thank you, Bidenomics. Uh, I share my numbers like in detail. In 2020, when I purchased my fourplex, two things happened. One, net worth passed a million. Good debt passed a million as well. I wouldn't know that, but I was tracking it for YouTube videos. And since then, so it's been coming up on 5 years in a couple weeks, net worth has over tripled. And I stopped working in 2022. Like, I don't invest for appreciation. It's an accidental byproduct that I so far have never touched. I've never done a HELOC, a cash out refinance, sold for a 1031. Those are very good strategies that my friends have done. It's not my thing, and I might actually sell my first property next year. We'll see. Coin is still spinning through the air and hasn't landed yet. It's the Schrodinger's rental. Petrol kind. There you go. Jack Stewart. Coffee, peanut butter filled things, sandwiches. I missed something in the chat. All right, Jared. It's funny. I started investing with the rise in prices and I'm still cash flowing. I am under contract on my fourth investment property, despite all the doomers. Time will tell. Merry Christmas. Yeah, love it. You have a very unique strategy. I think people should check out REI Jared's channel for that. You don't have tenants. You have members. I love it. There's Daniel's argument again. Manuel, Section 8 is 2,800 for, I've read that, and 2,800 for 4 bedroom in Vegas, 500 more than average rent. So what is my Section 8? Section 8 for my 4 bedroom is 3,000. I'd probably rent it for 26, 27 because it's Class C, right? It's a Class B 4 bedroom in my area, go for 3,000 or more. But Class C, like mine, I'm getting 3,000 from Section 8. And 3,000 is their cap. And I'm getting 3,000 without having to include utilities because we can go the 10% over because there is a shortage in my county. Dividend Dave, I got worms from a gas station sandwich. No, wait, that was Fry on Futurama. Yeah, put down the magic candy. Dividend Dave. Okay, Lumberjack. All right, well, that I will leave the arguing to you guys in there. REI Jared. Those of you watching your markets closely, have you seen the offers you are submitting get looked at and countered at a lower days on market than average 6 months ago? I say I have 25 is going to be awesome, I think. Um, I have friends making offers, some back and forth. There's negotiating going on. I'm not in buy mode. I'm trying not to look at deals that I would want to buy. End of 2025, I probably will. I'm not timing the market. I'm timing my life. There's a big difference. Never wait to buy because of the market. I'm waiting to buy because I'm already financially free. I don't want more rentals. I'm just going to optimize. And what's a other term that Matt uses? Right size. Howdy, Wayne. All right, Jared, my rents have gone up a little bit in the Phoenix metro. Nice. I would have expected the metro area to kind of go down. Chandler, what is that? G over by the Air Force Base. I want to say Gardner, but that doesn't sound right. To go up as people move more away from the center of the cities with remote work. Okay. All right, Jared. Granted, I am doing rent by room and long-term rents are in the different situation. Yep, it's the property, your strategy, the local market. Yeah. Jack Stewart, do you even know, Daniel, do you even know how to run numbers on what properties can make after expenses, the amount set aside for future repairs? Do you understand the buy box? How about a rent box? Some good questions there. All-nighter hider and everybody. I appreciate that you're all kind of being nice to Daniel. Don't call him names. It's right. Everybody can have their own opinion. Uh, Pointing out that the opinion is wrong, I think is good. It's my channel. You can attack me all you want, though. Glendale. Thanks, Jared. Right. Yes, Glendale. Over there, we're not quite west enough for that chip factory town that was being built. Angel R. Feliz Navidad. Uh, All-night hider, your anecdotal evidence doesn't equate to empirical, nor does mine or anyone else's. Very well said. Everyone can have an opinion. Doesn't mean any of them are right. I love it. MLS data doesn't lie. The MLS doesn't know crap about rents, period. Not one time has anything from the MLS recorded any of the leases I've signed on my rentals, ever. They don't have the data. I'd have sales data, that sales data that shows market wide, because the real estate's local, but market wide, we're up over 6% year over year. Massive crash happening. Are some local pockets that could be having trouble. Daniel, you might know your local pocket, but I know a lot of places that aren't. And there's like 300 markets, and people keep talking about here's the six that might be seeing a downsizing in prices to 300. All right, Jared. Thanks. Thanks for the channel shout out. I can't seem to post the link, but on Instagram and YouTube as REI Jared. I will, after this video, I will post a comment with a link to REI Jared's channel, and I'll pin it in the comments below. So in Futureland, the first comment will be a link to Jared's channel where he talks about rent by the room strategies. And Jared, you also run one of the, what are they called? Accountability groups in the school. So you and Frank, and I think there's a third one too. All-nighter hider, yes. It's best to start with clarifying questions rather than challenges. There you go. Aldair, howdy. Merry Christmas. PE turned RE. Howdy, Curtis. Successful binder strategy 1600 to 2400. I love that. So it's possible this is the first time Daniel saw my channel, and he doesn't know that we have the binder strategy where our tenants ask us to raise the rent. And you had a tenant go from 1600 to 2400 who will be happy afterward. That's what's missing with a lot of investing because MLS data lies. Brian Anderson, howdy. Also, congratulations, Curtis. That's awesome. I see large corp landlord, American Homes, BlackRock in Indy increase rent by 300, then bring it down slowly by 100 a month. The place to sit on the market for 3 months until it's down to the real market rate. Right. That is not a rent decrease. That's like me saying, I want to sell my house for $4 billion. And then we come down to what it's at. Did I reduce the price to what it's worth? Or did I hope for more? A rent decrease is when you re-sign a lease with an existing tenant at a lower amount. Adam, I would love to do a video. I will email you after the holidays. Perfect. Let's get that done. And if you're okay with it, Adam, what I would like to do is a live. I do want it to be alive so that we can have people ask questions during it. I know that there's formats out there like BiggerPockets where, and I did a bunch of deal deep dives where I had the people just kind of record a video and we put it up there. But I want people to ask you live during the video questions about your experience. Adam, that's great. That guy doesn't show up in my feed, mine either. But it took quite a few times of don't recommend channel. There should be a block channel. I don't know how that works, but it's don't recommend, don't recommend, don't recommend. Until eventually AI picks up on we're not stupid. All-nighter. When he does come up on my feed, I tell YouTube I'm not interested. There you go. Yep. And Mike, according to the comments, it was about 80% agreed with Matt. And 20% agreed with me on that video. And I want everybody to understand everyone who agrees with Matt is going to struggle as a landlord. If you watch that video, the point I was making was if you feel like that money is yours, you will be tempted to be a slumlord. You will feel like expenses are coming out of your pocket, even if they are. It's a mental state. Once you're large enough for cash flow to handle your problems, looking at it the way Matt does, totally fine. But is everybody there yet? And it's okay, Matt, we're supposed to disagree. And when we said, let's do some debate ones in the future, and I sent those ones, I actually sent a list of things we don't agree on. And we don't have to. REI Jared, it's weird. Long-term rentals, both the main property and the casita Outback. I just looked up Section 8 for 2025, and the 4.2 is over 3,000. The casita is long-term rental at 1,100. I may pivot after this year and try the Section 8. Either try the Section 8 or understand how Section 8 impacts rents with a little bit of a lag. If so, in my area, 2024 to 2025, Section 8 is almost the same. Like one went up like $17, and I think one went down like $4, whatever their estimate is. Like it's pretty much flat line. But in 2023, there was 30% increase in Section 8. That doesn't mean that January 2023 rents went up 30%. It meant about summertime when most landlord leases were renewing, that Section 8 was now a factor in how much people could charge. So find out what Section 8 pays and make sure you're not charging less than that for non-Section 8 tenants. Lumberjack landlord wasn't losing that one. I still think you lost. There you go, William Mike. And then my chat moved. Sorry. Of course, hopefully I didn't leave it open-ended. Been busy at work, sadly. Jared. Side note, Pace Morby, even as big as he is, actually replies to his Instagram and YouTube channels. I have watched him in person on a few occasions and it floored me. I just assumed he'd have a VA. Yeah. Pace knows what he's doing. That's for sure. Maddie, howdy. It is Christmas Eve and we are all on live discussion. REI. Are we all broken? Maybe we just need a break from some of us are probably having to spend time with family around the holidays and blech. I've met my family. Pro forma-ish. Out of state wholesalers out there, I have met 2 in 2 years that have after repair values at or below mine. As a result, I pay attention when deals come on there. Nice. Ivan, meowdy, meowdy Christmas. What's an average septic inspection? Good question, Matt. Probably local to your area, depending on how common septics are and how much competition there is. So how many quotes you need to get would determine that, I think. Trying to think of never sold a property, so I've never paid for a septic inspection. For sale of a property, those might be different than what the county requires. Derek's not on the channel either right now tonight. He would know. I'd get at least 3 quotes in your area because there's so many factors on what it should cost that I don't know that there's Matt says $250. Sounds about right. I'm trying to think. When is the last time I had a septic system? I had a septic system replaced, and that still cost me less than half what being connected to sewer has cost me on my other properties. And I'm not saying I connected to sewer. They weren't connected to sewer when I bought them. The fees with sewer and the problems that happen with sewer cost way more than having a septic system. And then Ivan took back a message to make me lose sleep and wonder forever, never what was said. And there's RAI Jared's chat channel. There you go. All Night Hatter's almost a minute behind. 650, keep shopping. Yeah, Ivan, I would definitely keep shopping. It could be the price in your area, right? If you're in an area where it's mostly sewer and not very many people are set up to work on septic, and there's not a lot of competition, they can charge whatever they want. But at least 3 quotes, and they don't have to come out and give you an estimate on the quote and charge you for it. You can get a quote over the phone or through an email. Buzz Tune, wish I could have been present in the future land now. Thanks. RAI Jared. Can you have Section 8 in a main house and then a casita on the same property? Yes. Section 8 will actually do rent by the room, Jared. You can do all kinds of things with them. Most people aren't aware, but Section 8 will actually help people buy a house too. They have a format for buying a house through the Section 8 program. I'm in Florida, investor, more specifically South Florida, Broward County, Hollywood area, if anybody is close by. Florida, your septic might be different because of the sea level. That could have an impact on it there. Millennial Mike, 80% agreed with Matt. He's a real convincing guy. I'm just saying, if the moderator is going to jump in and take one side, then at least make it a fair fight and start a 2v2. You know, I lose together. There you go. Perfect. Freedom Works. How much did you pay for a septic system replace? $17,000. Is that the total? Or was there another payment? $17,000. Yeah. That was what I paid. So $17,000. And if I've had one time another plumber worked on the alarm system because it has a pump for that from one tank to the other. So I probably spent another $500 there. So 17.5 versus I have properties that are $100 a side. The one in Port Orchard's $250 a side just to be connected to sewer every month forever. And then if you have a problem in your pipes, they're going to be your pipes. It's not going to be on the street side of the pipes. So you're going to pay for all the pipe repair too if you have sewer. So $100 a month would be the low end per unit. So most of mine are duplex or more. So $200 a month, $2,400 a year. How many years that septic system was put in like 91, and that's the first work that's ever been done to it. No, that was the 1929 septic system. The 91 system is still sitting there. Ivan Zuniga, I saw you come down to Fort Lauderdale. Do you ever consider buying here? I went to Fort Myers and Cape Coral for 2 months and studied the market and did a lot of scuba diving to help my friend buy in Florida. I buy locally in Washington State. So far, I haven't bought out of state. I have no desire to. I'm not familiar with enough of Florida outside of those 2 cities to talk much about what I would or wouldn't invest in there. From what I found in the numbers there, the single family houses in Fort Myers and Cape Coral don't make much sense, just like Washington. The small multifamily do. There was a pretty good scam going on. My friend that was investing fell for, and it's one of the reasons why I went to Florida to say, hey, that's not how you buy real estate. He bought a new build. So we went under contract, secured the mortgage, the loan, the whatever, to give the contractor to build the duplex. So he's buying a duplex, and I think at the time, 385, 410, something like it was around 400,000 for this duplex. Full build, everything done. Gets almost done. Contractor comes and says, here's $50. You no longer own the property. The new build contractors put it in that they can, if it goes under contract and they're building it, what is your contract termination fee? And my friend got bit by this. They give him $50 and then sold the place to someone else for like 500,000, worth way more to them. So if you go to buy a new build, Find out what the contract termination fee is, because what they could be doing is securing the funding to get the build started to see what happens with the market. Because if the market goes down, you're the buyer. If the market goes up, they cancel your contract and sell it to someone else. That could probably happen in any state. I just know that it happened in Florida to my friend. I I like Florida. I like visiting it. I don't want to live there. I live in a state where nothing's trying to unalive me. And Florida is the Australian outback of the United States because everything is trying to kill you. Like, oh, my other friends, they bought, so they're also buying not Fort Myers, but Cape Coral and North, where that build was going on. They bought a house and two duplexes, then they've sold them because they wanted to buy in that area because somebody told them this is the west side of Florida. No hurricanes ever hit here. Got wiped out twice. So they moved to Tennessee, which just got wiped out. Yeah, freedom works. So in Washington, if you're my duplexes that are not near the water, it's $100, 50, yeah, 100 bucks, $120 a side for duplex to be connected to sewer. And then there's a water connection too and everything. But I own a property that's right on the water, and draining sewer near a water is very expensive. So don't buy in Port Orchard without factoring in knowing what your costs are going to be for connecting or being connected to sewer. Septic is free, other than maintaining the septic system. Sewer has a constantly recurring issue, and it's the place where I have had a pipe issue, which of course was on my side of the pipes. The wind chime. Can you hear the wind chime? That's here. I do. I hear it when I'm outside. I tried to remember to go take it down. So I saw no further evidence of a real estate crash in the comments. I saw no uh Ivan, it's not bad that it's bad to live in Florida. You just, you have your uh, I don't know. It's kind of like I like the weather in Florida, so I travel to Thailand for scuba diving and I travel to Portugal for scuba diving. And I would say I go to Colombia, but that stuff in the water is trying to eat you there too. Looks like, because it's Christmas Eve, we might be out of questions for the evening. I hope everybody has a Christmas full of amazing. I am going to be recording the Three Amigos tomorrow morning. I don't know, but I hope Zuber just does a live. It'd be great to be alive, to do a live. Derek, howdy. How many bedrooms in your duplex, fourplex? Any problem renting two bedroom if that's what they are? Two bedrooms, my preference. You can get more rents from a three bedroom or a four bedroom, but that tends to involve children. And I like to do things that legally discriminate against having children in my properties. I've had one instance of pet damage. I guess that's not true anymore. Tenants moved out with pets. Carpet was going to go anyway. So I've had one instance where I've had to do repairs because of a pet. Like that was the actual issue. But I've had over and over and over and over and over and over issues with kids. So I do things like I specifically want two bedrooms. I'll buy a three or a four because you can get more rents. It tends to be a little bit better of a return, but you get more kids that way. Some of my three bedrooms rent to couples where one of them works at home, so they need an office at home and a workout room. So that's fine. But you're more likely to have families with kids apply, and you can't discriminate. So I legally discriminate by going, but I don't rip out bathtubs and put in showers. But anytime I'm having work done where a bathtub needs repaired, then I'll take it out and put in a shower. By the two bedrooms, I specifically target not in the good school districts. It's the dumbest thing in the world to buy a rental in a good school district, in my opinion, because you give yourself planned obsolescence. Once the kids are out of a certain grade, they don't need to be in that school district, and it invites renters with kids, so it goes against my strategies. A super chat from Frank. Thank you. Any suggestions on how to search for an umbrella policy? Brokers. I think I got mine by calling different brokers for different quotes, but then you have to understand when you get the umbrella policy, Frank, they're going to make a couple of requirements. Some will only let a certain number of properties under the umbrella. Others, like mine, say every single property you own has to be under our umbrella, can't be with anybody else. And they have to be insured by our same, not underwriter, but brokerage, right? So the underwriters could be different. Like I've got some Travelers and some, what's the other one? Stillwater and right. So there can be different underwriters, but it had to go through the same brokerage. And then they'll say, while your car insurance meets the state required minimums, that doesn't meet our umbrella minimum. So you're going to compare not only the cost of the premium, the cost of the coverage, but what other requirements do they have that's going to impact your other insurance? So when you're choosing it, you might want to get complete written out from them, at least in an email. Here's what you're wanting from me to get this umbrella policy. Insurance brokers, that'd be my recommendation for that. In Midwest, Atwood, Illinois, sewer is often 50 to 75 per month. Yep. So it's not too far off of the 100 to 120 per unit that I have here. It's my one that's on the water that's the expensive one. Water is additional, same here. And a lot of my municipalities require that the water goes in the owner's name. So what some owners will do is give a fixed amount. This is what your water costs every month. Others will go, okay, you pay water 1 month in the rear, so I get the bill, send it to you. Here's what you're paying me because the owner pays it. There's several different options there. On that header, Frank, I'm gonna have to make one now, not to type. I'm gonna leave my door unlocked. There you go. Crazy wind chime behind you. Oh, that wind chime. This crazy one. Okay. This one given to me by a very special person to me, Frank. Yes, that wind chime. There's one outside, and we don't get wind very often in Washington because if it goes over 30 miles an hour, people die. Like trees take people out. So I have a wind chime out there, which tends to keep the seagulls away from the actual house. Just keep the pigeons away. Yeah. You guys have an amazing week. Hopefully I see you in a live tomorrow on the One Rental at a Time. And RE Travel. Howdy. I do appreciate every question, right? People, I don't know if people understand. Is there anybody here? This is a weird thing to ask, who looks forward to Tuesdays for this live? Because I do. Just a couple things. One, it tells me that it's Tuesday because I would have no other way of knowing what day of the week it was. But two, I get to answer questions, top of mind awareness. This is what an investor keeps in their mind. And there's the opportunity for people like that guy Daniel, who seems to have dipped out of the channel, to put in their 2 cents. For the binder strategy, what would you do if you emailed a tenant once and he ignored, texted once and he ignored? Another tenant at the property agreed to a $400 increase. Thanks, California. So call or 100 increase. I would call, make sure the communication happens. Email can go to spam, the text really hard to ignore. You could, what would I do if a tenant ignored? I think if a tenant has not, I've had handyman not answer me. And then I just remind them that the tip is based on this job being done on time. Tenant. So if you send the information for the binder and they don't answer you, the next follow-up is, okay, then let me know what day you're going to be out since you're not going to renew your lease, so I know when to get the property listed. Speak a little bluntly to start a conversation. That would be what I do. I'd probably find a creative way to be blunt with the tenant, depending on my interactions with that specific tenant. Awesome. I was hoping somebody would look forward to the Tuesday lives. I actually thought one time, I don't think I'll ever do it, of doing, people do that, like, here's a challenge if I'm going to go live every day for a month or something. I think I would bore everybody to tears. So we're not going to do that. All right, Jared, if you guys haven't bought tickets to the One Rental at a Time Vegas event in February, you should. It's amazing and I highly recommend it. So what we're doing, thank you, Jonathan. That was a really nice thing to say. Take a picture and send it to all my family that say the opposite. The Vegas event is February 15th and 16th. It's the President's Day weekend. It is happening in Las Vegas at the Center for the Blind. There are several speakers. Matt and his wife are the first presenters. The week before, the Wednesday and Thursday before the 15th and 16th, we're doing midnight Denny's meetup. So Daniel, if you want to come and tell me to my face how wrong I am in February, as I sit there and just try to figure out how to spend my tenants' money, tell me how wrong I am. You keep emailing me, and I think it keeps going to spam. Try this email. This is an alternate email in case, because right, either one of those, and see if it comes through. Daniel, I will buy you a plane ticket. There you go. Can't get a better offer than that. Awesome. If you came in a little bit late, please go back and watch the intro to this video as I do a visceral reaction to an idiot. Brian, howdy. Going to the Vegas event, and I'll be there. Let us know how to attend the Denny's event. Here, let me share my screen and I will show you. This is how amazingly technical we're going to be. I'd have to look up where the Center for the Blind is to know where these are. But I think one of these maps, there is a Denny's that is closest to the Center for the Blind. The week of, in several videos before the event, we are going to say it's at this certain Denny's, whichever one it's at, because there's a few options. I know it's not on the strip, but we'll say this is the one we're at. There's no like registration, there's no fee. We're all just meeting at Denny's at midnight or a little bit before. We'll hang out for several hours and we'll talk real estate and investing, and all questions are fair game. Doge doesn't impact Section 8 before I can buy it. I don't think, even during the longest government shutdown, Section 8 has not paid. Yeah, I can't see an administration negatively impacting Section 8 since we haven't yet. We haven't seen numbers go down. They use that 5-year average minus the 7-year average minus the most recent 2 to get your rents. Right, Jack. Trying to think if there's another way you can get a hold of me. Those emails, try both of those, and I'll check my spam. Is your email Jack Stewart, or is it something else I should look for? Let me know. Put your name in the email. I'll search for that. Have an evening and a Christmas full of amazing.